never seen any rain in Cali. It's usually very, very Seattle-like when we look towards that kind of weather. But let's get this show on the road. One of these two teams, unfortunately, can't be joining us for the rest of the competition today. And after this is all said and done, they will be leaving the seats and leaving the arena. Initial flag touch straight off the bat, less than 20 seconds into the game. We're already getting pressure.
And that one's got to be going in. We saw so many members of Unlimited fall. We saw great positioning as Rain ran that from Snipe 2, got back up from Reliable, and that's the first cap within 30 seconds, Sims. That's the best start you can possibly ask if you're an Nfinite fan.
And the thing is that we almost saw the identical thing yesterday. I'm sure it was Rhino, but got a flag cap within 25 seconds. So it's kind of same scenario, and whether or not it's indicative of this map towards this game type towards this team and how they like to play. But we've already got another one on the run as well. Rain down low, does take a few two shots. Backboards, main window. There's a fair amount of players over on the opposing side, but they are trapped within their base. Rockets or not, they're on the defensive. That's the insta-stop, so the flag goes down. Not entirely sure where the rest of his teammates are. If they want to come back and try and retrieve this, they have to take down the rocket guy first or let him waste him. But by letting waste those rockets, unfortunately, you'll be throwing your body at him. He'll be taking you down, putting you in the respawn screen, causing you all kinds of chaos. That is a very quick S2 run. Job done. No pressure, no challenge at all. They use the rockets, take them down, just cakewalks that thing home.
Nothing Unlimited could have done in that scenario, as they were so efficient and effective grabbing that flag right after the kills. I speculated before that Unlimited could keep up with the chaos that Nfinite brings and how they thrive in those scenarios, but doesn't seem to be the case based on these first 2 minutes, Sims.
Yeah, there's no messing around here. Shots from the back, unfortunately. His teammates out there to give support. As soon as I say that, they do just make a big old charge towards the low door. Vents, unfortunately, the grave there for Rain, but it doesn't matter. We'll move on board with Trippy looking through now. Now, let's hold for a second, regardless of what's going on screen, Dave, and take a moment to appreciate this man's abilities from yesterday. There were several scenarios across several different series where he was just the ultimate dagger in the back from nowhere, timed it perfectly. One of them was on this map in particular. He just knows when it's the time to strike. He knows when it's the time not to shoot, not to reveal yourself and put you in that perfect position.
Yeah, there has to be something to be said for that. Like how many different times he's able to get behind the enemy lines, put himself in such a devastating position to help set his team up for a sneaky cap. I mean, Dead Zone trying to push that one on a little bit further. That flag is going to be stopped in Snipe 2, so there's really not much they can do about it. But as I say that, Trippy swooping on through, getting that kill, and pushing this flag in through Jetpack to secure a second cap and potentially tie this game.
Could have timed it more perfect. Discussing man of the hour from yesterday, and he's starting to put some numbers on the board and deliver this one home. Job done. Thank you, Stellar Call Collect. And it's all tied up to a piece. This is going to be a very fast-paced game and kind of will dictate of not only how this series will go down, but how Countdown generally plays. Rain off to the back roads, double kill. Dead Zone at least clears them out for now. But the assault will continue. You can see the sniper bullet trails. That means they're going to be lingering and kicking around S2. Checks the drop down as he advances forward through Diamond. We'll be looking for these players maybe lingering around S2, coming down from outside. You have to be aware of them. You have to be careful now. Depending on how many of a man advantage you are, will dictate at which point they're going to be pushing these flags.
Yes, without a doubt. And one point to also keep in mind and to pay attention to is look at how frequently these players are just sticking around level 2 of the map versus going up level 3. You do see that from time to time, but with so many close quarter engagements on this map, you can essentially hide away from all those upper angles and just stay down low this entire time as you just avoid, you know, blue street, red street, and you go around from Snipe 2 or over to the jetpacks to just put havoc on the enemy flag.
Saw the pre-grenade as well off the backboard there, just inside the base. His teammates clearly had the number written of the enemies that were inside, and communication's absolutely vital. If you would have run that flag in, the grenade could have come down and basically destroyed them and put a stop on that flag, potentially even got the return as well. Nick seen someone outside. We'll be calling these ones down and maybe just following him around. S2 snipe area, looking towards the streets. Might be able to get an angle for the opposing street. You can see Nick is repositioning. His name's flashing yellow and golden, which means he's actually in danger, or at least taking trouble of his own. That's a stop right on the spot. Can we get the return? That would be huge. That would be so disappointing that you've got it so close.
Oh my God, and did not get the recovery just as of yet. Rain, instead of going for the recovery, decides to go for this counter cap. I actually agree with this play. I mean, he could have stayed on that flag, maybe just only got the recovery, and it looks like it just naturally returned anyway, so he just paid attention to the timing on that flag recovery and realized, why waste 5 seconds sitting here recovering when I can get this flag moving across the map?
How has he managed to do that with no health? His teammates from across on the opposing spawn. He has got it to training, but to be able to stay alive like that and get the support that was much needed. All the way across map, the bullets come in. They've managed to drag this one out. It's scrappy. It's not clean by any means. But they might be able to make it work. No, they cannot. The flag reset comes in, and once again, we go back to even Stevens. 3-2 in flags. Drop down being used with the jetpacks. Put it to good use, and at least just get your shields back for now. So I like it. Avoid. Get into cover. Get out of harm's way. Sniper pops. Those people are down low. Basement is the hot area. It's the kill zone, the kill box. You don't want to be wandering down there. He has support from his teammates. Up a notch, up a level we go. Put this sniper into a decent position where you can get the angles, you can get the picks. He can defend the street, and his teammates, well, he has the can opener. The rocket's there.
2 world champions with 2 power weapons. We have Eco and Stellar with sniper and rockets just holding up level 3 in such strong positions.
With the rockets, you'd have to expect this has to be a cap, right? Surely. Assist medal comes through. Resets there, okay. Well, at least he hasn't wasted him. He's got a fair play, he has a double kill, so he's made him to good use, but he's not died, and that's the most important thing.
Well, also for important things, Nfinite was able to pick off, looks like Zane, aka Dead Zone, who was going for that flagpole. So despite getting 2 or 3 kills there and having these power weapons and having these strong positions, they weren't able to translate that or transition it into any sort of capture.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Missed the body shot. It's beaten down. Sniper transfers. Not entirely sure how many bullets are left in, so it might not be pivotal. Rain goes head-to-toe, one-on-one. It's going to be Rain that wins those battles out. 2 of them going down simultaneously. Onwards and upwards, Ryan Oobs on level 3, looking towards the window. We'll be able to call these players out around S2. Will he take this one or just stay cautious at S3? Probably the best place to be here right now is S3 to watch the drop-down areas. Especially if they want to make an advancement from above.
This game has slowed down quite a bit, though. Keep in mind the pace we saw within the first 2 minutes. Nfinite got 2 of their 3 caps within the first 2 minutes, and over the next 5 or so minutes, they've only been able to acquire 1. And so now that this game is maybe gotten kind of figured out a little bit more, it seems like they've been able to find when Nfinite's just pushing a little too far, punishing them for their overextensions. And you can see Nfinite going all down, which is something we did not see previously throughout this game.
All dead, and they take full advantage and capitalize on the situation. Get the flag, get the job done, it's on way. That's a nice little offensive player to dip down low, then when the flag gets pulled, return it, ignore the enemies, and actually take the flag head on. Looking towards low door. People are there, they're wasting time, the flag's on the way. You don't want to be chasing this sniper player, you want to be getting to the other side of the map. He's missed it. Whether or not I personally think he should have grabbed that. I think he just missed it at the end. I know he's trying to keep his head, and his teammates will be there, but the bombardment, the absolute barrage of grenades will cause them all kinds of problems. This should be another cap.
Yep, they were able to secure the cap in the end, which is going to put them up 4-3 here for Unlimited. I think one thing that some teams and players accidentally do when they're trying to push these flags in from their jetpack is they have the flag player lead right away. Instead, you need somebody to secure your level 2 a bit quicker, pushing on over and creating a second angle to fight over at garage, or maybe having someone in your window contesting and punishing somebody who's throwing those grenades from level 3 street or from level 2 of the opposing team's base.
You don't ever see too much outside action. That's because we don't have camo up. That's only in Slayer where you see the camo spawn outside. More towards flag. Inside S2 runs, they're the quickest. They're the easiest traverse. Going outside, really, it's only if you're going for the long rotation, and this map and this game type generally is too quick to be doing that, so you don't tend to see many fights going out. I like that. Go after the player. Save yourself a bullet. Takes his teammate down, but who really cares? That's the triple. The last one could be there. All 4 dead. It's not quite, but more than enough. Ooh. He spared the time. He got the return. Fantastic work.
Great job and conservation to not just jump out and challenge that. Yep. Realizing that even though he could have gotten the montage clip and been on the highlight reel even more so than he's already going to be, he backs down. He realizes his team has the numbers advantage, and there's no reason to give a one-on-one fight or potential death to a player just to acquire that medal. Although I really wanted to see it, Sims. Let's
I
be
think
honest.
that everyone wants to see it, right?
honest.
Everyone wants to see it. Richie Hines is looking in the back and trying to find these. Everything he did he drop that? He actually get no. They got it in. There we go. A little bit of an unfortunate set of circumstances there. We'll kind of see how this fares. If it now has slowed him down because the opposing team is capitalizing, they're moving this one. So off the back of the mini fumble, they may have wasted some time. Both flags are actually being run. It's job done. GG. Wow. Dead zone. Sneaky Beaver sneaks it in, runs the S2, and they take game number 1.
And that's a bit of a heartbreaker. I mean, it felt like that player who was sniping over at S3 got the flag running to one shot and said, my job is done. I did my part. I'm now going to be able to rotate through and not have to panic and get this kill themselves. And instead, it was a situation where Dead Zone, I believe it was, just continued to run that flag as quick as possible. Like I said, sometimes when those flags move uninterrupted, you really have no other option than to take very obvious routes or to panic and potentially give up your life in order to stop that flag.
It's like they were outslayed, which kind of tells a bit more of a story on that one. Being able to run those S2 is absolutely critical. It's the quickest route to do it, and we did kind of say it's a very close combat, very claustrophobic map, I want to say, with all the hallways and all the low roofs and ceilings. Triple kill at the end was absolutely prolific in the larger scale of things with that rockets to put it to good use. To initially also save one by beating down that guy and not wasting it because he knew he was flashing. Like
yeah,
he
that was
the other ones.
risky, like to go for the melee versus just busting out the DMR since the player was already one shot. I mean,
that's fair.
Maybe he was in a mindset that someone else could have rounded that corner at the exact same moment and been in a situation where he, had to use his rockets after getting that melee hit. But I always feel like if you don't have to go for a melee trade, don't do it.
Yeah. At least
it worked out fine in the end, so maybe I'm incorrect here. But
no, I mean, you get it. It's coulda, woulda, shoulda any given Sunday kind of thing. Yes. We are on a Sunday, so anything can happen. But I think the one thing to take away from that, regardless of whether he beat him down or used the DMR, not wasting a rocket.
Yes.
And then he moved on to that to be able to pick up a triple kill afterwards.
Yep.
It kind of paid off. They stopped the flag, he gets the kills. Slayer, Zealot, whatever you want to call it, will be game number 2. Very close game, 5-4. We see Unlimited take game 1. And I'm hoping that's a telltale sign of things to come. We want to see a game 5. I want to see it go down to the wire because, hell, this is an elimination match. Why wouldn't you? Both of these teams are very, very individually skilled players. We know what they're more than capable of. Fist bumps all around. Game is starting to load. 15 minutes on the board. Score to 50. First one to get to that wins the game. Or, if the clock runs down, whoever's got the highest will be taking it.
Let's be real, though. On a map this small, Sims, we're not even getting halfway through that 15-minute countdown, so we're going to see this game end in closer to like 6-ish minutes.
Now, wacky, wonderful, wild, and weird. Some of the angles you've been taking from street to gold to even to landing. Having a sniper rifle on a map like this can be extremely dangerous if you are not the enemy team controlling it. Like being able to just wander those streets like a predator. Even just giving information and feeding it back to your teammates. If you don't, like a lot of these players playing at this level, they will be getting headshots with the sniper, but even if you're not and you're just getting the body shots, calling it out and giving that ability so your teammates can just clean up and remove them in the presence from the map, it does enough damage. Speaking of damage, grenade launchers there's 4 players directly in front of him. Follows it on the drop down, at least gets the double so the trade's off. Sniper rifle is in play.
Look at those shots all the way across the map. I mean, just such punishing moves any single time a player from Nfinite exposes themselves a little too long. They get drilled by 3 or 4 DMR shots, and you're sure that they're going to call that out and punish them later, whether it's somebody that's nearby or whether they get a secondary angle shortly later. I mean, it's just the sheer amount of damage that Unlimited are putting across the map, and it just adds up so quickly.
I honestly think they're just going to mentally take them in the game. Like, tilt factor becomes a reality here. Unlimited will just put the foot on the gas and not let go. Look at the scoreline already. 19-9, 10 kill deficit, and we're less than 2 minutes into the game.
And those sort of runs don't come along often in a Team Slayer game where you're able to separate yourselves by 10 or so kills. So it's such a tall order at this point to ask Nfinite not only just to slow it down and partial on these kills, but then to somehow close that gap. And Ryan Noob doing one thing that's going to help his team get back in this game. That's an overkill and a full team wipe on Unlimited. This is the moment that they're looking for. They can get some spawn traps, potentially trap them all over at blue and get a few kills. But looks like the incredible team or individual skills from the members of Unlimited, just able to push out of that spawn trap. Those are so unheard of. Just someone like Stellar pushing out instantly over towards bridge, 5-shotting someone, teammate Eco doing the same over towards the bomb basement side. That those individual plays aren't just one kill that's on the scoreboard. That breaks a team out of a spawn trap. That gets your team some breathing room so that you aren't just going to get killed over and over again.
Richie Hines missing an overkill. I think some emails have to be sent after this, Dave. There has to be some form of punishment for that one, Richard. I am deeply disappointed in you. Nah, I'm only joking. You're doing a fantastic job in the back, buddy. 29-25. Things starting to get a little bit warmed up now, especially after Ryan Noob's over. The one thing that I wanted to make note on before that actually came into the play was how many times we'd see the red team all clumped up, 3 players, 4 players, all together. Like, there was just no breathing room. They couldn't get out of their spawn every single time. Members were just dogpiling them, keep them trapped. But it appears that Ryan Noob's overkill kind of allowed them a bit of breathing space.
It absolutely sparked that whole scenario and that whole series of events. You saw how Ryan got the overkill. They started to get one spawn trap, and even though Stellar and Eco helped break out of that spawn trap, they still were able to close that gap to now only a 3-kill lead, which is a massive difference. Like I said before, there are very few times in a Team Slayer game with 2 top-level or equally matched teams that a squad is going to pull ahead by 8 or 10 kills. And both these teams have had swings like that so far this game.
Lots of messy street fighting going down. Grenades doing a hell of a lot of damage here and playing a huge factor into why some of these guys are just continuously flashing on the shields and no to low health. Then falls directly in front of his teammate. Trippy was forced back because of that scenario. They didn't have any health. Fresh sniper up. What work can we do? Ryan Noob, a man with a plan and a man who can. Straight down to the opposing base. Timmy Tinkler will be forced to chase that one down. Didn't see an assist medal inside the kill feed, but now they're taking the power weapons and removing from the opposing team. Great job there from Rain.
What a good double back.
To be able to just re-peek like that.
Yes, and it's such an unexpected challenge. Reason being is that player was clearly long and gone. And Rain knew that he had a teammate in that scenario, and he knew that focus would instantly shift on over towards his teammate. So he doubled back and helped get that double team. That's just such a deep, intimate knowledge of the game and knowing how and when you can challenge to help a teammate out.
Lost sniper though, and they've lost power weapon control and a very crucial point in the game, which is dangerous. One player picked up a double. There's another. Oh, it's still fragile. Kill for kill, trade for trade. Stella comes in with a 1-2. Thank you. Blue team wins. GG.
Unlimited able to close those games out, even though they allowed that moment where Nfinite was able to string together 8 or 10 kills, or 8 or 10 kills throughout the course of that minute or so. They still just closed out, which is important. You can't get too caught up in those swingy moments. You need to be able to break out those times when you're on the spawn trap. You need to be able to punish when you're at the advantage.
Stella putting on a show. Stellar performance indeed. +10. Secure his team the win in game number 2. Fantastic work so far. Now the pressure's on. Like, let's be real there. If Ryan Noob hadn't picked up that over and allowed his team to be able to move out and actually traverse the map.
Yeah, it's not just those 4 kills either. It's that following sequence of events and that domino effect where they're able to get kill after kill. They're able to put Unlimited into a sort of a spawn trap and get them all stuck in one quadrant of the map and force them to try to run out and push out. That's what allowed them to actually bring the game closer to even in that middle game. It's
not even a game of mathematics. Like, if you 10 down, you get the over, that's instantly down to a 6-kill deficit. Any of your teammates can pick up some scrappy ones off the spawn, you're down to a 4-kill deficit. Like, you can more than, with one overkill, easily half that down from 10. More importantly, it's the factor of what it does for your confidence and allowing your teammates to get out of the base, because there were multiple times we saw that. They were all just crammed in a corner, begging and pleading for help for something. Rhino finally was the savior to come in, but it wasn't good enough. The damage was done. They continue the bombardment. They take game number 2. Game 3, we will land here. It's going to be King, it's going to be Battle Canyon, Beaver Creek, whatever you want to call it. From back in the day, it's had many iterations, but the name of the game is still the same. Grab the hill, get the points, get the power weapons, and quite simply, click heads.
Someone, I believe that was Nick, poured in through right away, which pushed pressure on that top rocket arch. was able to take out that sniper over from the red side, so that added up really quick as far as a great flank going on there for Nick.
Bit of an overzealous rocket. It'll hit the back of the arch, but it does a fair amount of damage at least. DMR would have been able to seal the deal. Rockets go in and Trippy unfortunately falls. That was a bit of a trade-off there. Nice snipe through the smoke. Lands the tag on the body. Quite a lot of hill time actually, surprised for this kind of map, especially down in Creek off the bat. I'm surprised to see so much already on the clock. It's a very...
Yeah, it's that scrapey hill, but at what cost? Is Nfinite giving up too much control? You see 3 members of Nfinite dead right now, and although Ryan Noob does have some semblance of control over at red base, it's not really a full setup. His teammates are still getting picked off, and it feels like Unlimited not only are closing that gap and tying the game right now, they also have numbers advantage on the map, and they can take over red base on a whim.
Snipes just traversing the base from dark side to light. There was a player downing needles on whether or not that teammates actually come up to help him. That'll certainly do the job. Nick takes a bullet to the brain, moving down towards Creek. More time on the clock. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Should be able to draw this one up, provided there's not too much impressive fire from the backlines, which there is, but there is an instant trade. There's the double. Triple is waiting in the bottom. No, he's dead, but his teammate's there at least to clean it up. So now while there is 3 down there, you can scrap up some time, and you touched on this one yesterday, Dave. The odd few 2 to 3 seconds here, 2 to 3 seconds there. And a sequence of events where you're denying any points from the opposing team, they all add up and they all add to the clock.
Right here, Nfinite are in a strong position to potentially secure red base. They just need to get about 2 or 3 kills, and then they can scrap up a massive amount of time. But that's not enough control here, as 2 members were taken out on the side of that base. So right now it's going to be kind of a bind for control. Both these teams have a stronghold or foothold here over at red base, and it's going to see who comes out ahead. Now I would expect almost nobody to fully come out ahead in these next 30 seconds, because someone starts to lose a little bit of control, they're just going to hide somebody in the base. They're going to take their time.
I'm surprised when this hill moved to here, there was one of the players on the opposing side on the other base. It's not where you want to be. You want to have this set up and locked down. Double comes through here for Dead Zone. Looking for this final player who he knows has been throwing the grenades. They have given away his position. It's going to be Ryan Noob, who is finally found. Sniper rifle taken out.
Similar to what I said before, it doesn't feel like either team has a full setup or full control here at red base. And Dead Zone, just taking it in his own hands, decides to drop right in the base to find that little straggler running around.
3 dead. 44 seconds remaining on this hill. I'd expect all these to go in the way of blue team. Now they have back control. No one get on top of the base. They have someone down in Creek. That's quite simply going to lock that one down, and someone up around the top archway. Ryan Noob, I have no idea how the hell he managed to sneak through there, but he does. He breaks the setup. He causes them all kinds of grief. But at what cost? All 4 players of Infinite, they're dead.
So as we try to break this game down thus far, Sims, we saw the first center Scrappy Hill dead even at the end. Essentially 27 points apiece. However, when we went to the side setup bases, looks like Unlimited is the squad that can hold a setup a little bit longer and a little bit stronger. They're coming out 30 seconds ahead going into the next Scrappy Hill.
Work his way down to the creek as the hill does transfer. He's going to try and do the tree jump. Don't bollocks it up now. You're on stream. You've got to hit it. There we go. Second time.
That Shyway would tell us that a spring jump would make that a little bit easier.
Just slams his computer down. Damn it. Snaps up in his nest. 2 players, unfortunately, finding him down low. It's a very unorthodox position to find those, but he finds the faces, so it doesn't really matter. Second one's there as well, Rain. Is going to take some pain, but speaking of pain, the response from the opposing sniper nest. Sees him find its target. Reliable comes in and helps his teammate out. They'll clean up that one. Eco from the side. Assist medals in. Another player is eliminated from top of the base. They can keep it held down. And eventually we'll get to a point where we're about 20 to 30 seconds remaining on that creek hill. Again, scrapping up time where you'll start to look onwards. What's next? Where's the next objective? Where do we want to set our teammates up? All that will become part of the conversation for the IGL. You have to be listening to him, because eventually the call will be made that you have to start to build up for the base movement.
Ryan Noob just causing so much havoc from that top rocket arch. dealing damage from players inside blue base, keeping someone pinned down, just being an absolute nuisance for all these members of Unlimited. They've been calling him out one shot for such a long time when he was top rocket arcs. They went down to old power-up spawn. There's really not much that they can do to pick him off.
Still a fragile lead. Still anyone's game at this moment in time. 72 to 63 is nothing. Not when we've got 9 minutes remaining on the clock. Everything to play for. Everything, unfortunately, to die for some of these individuals. Throwing bodies at it will never be the best play in the world, but then again, it can be a scrappy game type. There are those options.
Well, looking at the evaluation of that last scrappy hill, Nfinite coming out ahead by about 20 points in that last hill. So they're able to somewhat close those gaps, it feels like, in at least the most recent scrappy hill, because the first one, once we broke down, we said it was near even. Both teams getting about 30 points.
Nice shot there, flying through the air. Speaking of flying through the air, there's a missile from above. Just ends him and eviscerates him from the map. Pre-nades down, hoping someone walks round. We'll have other options on the table.
That is a blunder right there. Somehow, Rain got taken out when he had rockets. Dead zone able not only to get that power weapon, also able to get the player off the hill. And I don't know where that mistake happened. I think it was twofold if I'm just trying to speculate here. One part being Rain getting a little caught off guard over towards the back of red base, or sorry, back of blue base. The second part being is Nfinite seemed like they were a little too spread out. You saw they had 1 or 2 players all the way across the map over towards the red base. And yes, you don't always want to just stay fully secluded on your side, but there's a big difference between staying fully secluded on your side and sending half of your team to the opposite side of the map rather than defending and securing the hill base.
Hill control.
Rippy just chilling for now. More control. Main door. Hopes to now make his entranceway into the hill, but unfortunately, other players have other ideas. He's tabbed up from afar, and his teammates can quite easily secure that kill, so that's not a problem whatsoever. Rain goes down. Nick will know this, and he can't extend too far because Archway is under congestion. They have to be aware of this, and that's why you see him crouching down and using those pillars in front of him to try and hide his body. Should they have a sniper rifle as well, that's why they most have to be aware, and there it is. It's on the back of Trippy. He exposed himself, and now they know they have the information, but the hill has moved. Opposite side of the map we go. Trippy is forced down. And that's great. Get him out of the crow's nest. Give him a limited window of opportunity to even use anything. They're all dead. That's a really nice play. This is a good retrieval.
Nfinite winning on all fronts at the moment. We broke down the last scrappy hill where we said Nfinite came out by about 20 points. The most recent side, Blue Hill, Nfinite came out ahead by 20 points, and for first time in a while, seeing them in the lead. And then look at this, just getting so many kills when you have so many players on the enemy side down. You can do whatever you want, and what they're choosing to do is scrap up more of that time in the bomb center hill.
A lot to be spoken for information, and the sniper rifle can do just that, provided you're a team that can construct it and use it to the maximum potential. It's okay using your brain to be able to engage it and get the kills, but
Pistola would disagree with that. Pistola would disagree with that. You know,
no, that's fine.
Don't use your brain in the game. Just
YOLO. Just YOLO. I've been living by that for many years, Dave, and I can tell you it's not gone good. Frags go down bottom middle. Congestion's there because it's just a scrappy one. The creek, the time, still 5:30 on the clock. You don't have to desperate this. You don't have to give up your life endlessly just to get a few seconds here and there. Get a wave of slayers or just keep people out of that bottom middle hill and go for a base lockdown. That would be the better play here for blue team. However, they scrap a few points here and there. Not the worst scenario in the world, but been able to lock down a base and then get a good chunk of change, you know, 20, 30 seconds off the bat. It's definitely the better play.
Yeah, Nfinite slowly but surely has been pulling out ahead throughout all these past few hills. They aren't just relying on one side base setup where they get 60 to 80 points and get some sort of insurmountable lead. Instead, hill by hill, they've almost consistently been going ahead by about 20 points the last few hills. So it feels like they're kind of figuring out how Unlimited plays here on this hill game and just out-killing them outmaneuvering them and outplaying them every step of the way.
Nest causing all kinds of problems with this snipe, disallowing it any line of sight, which I'm okay with, keep him at bay. Stop any more damage. Every time he peeks out, he's just getting tabbed up from multiple angles. He opts just to put it away and engage through bottom mid. It's a bit of a kill box, so you have to be careful here. He's going to have to land these shots, which he does. Such
a nice shot, and he knows somebody's up on Rocket Arch. There's always somebody up on Rocket Arch if there's red base is being held. And Stellar still not dropping down, just being such a nuisance. Finally able to take out that Rocket Arch flare, and that's going to be the green light for all these players to push across the map because that big scary man is off that power position.
It's go time. It's go time. They have to make something of it, and best bet they need back of this base locked down, which they have for now, but there's someone else forcibly going under the base and causing all kinds of problems. Ryan's there to shut it down. I'm fine with it. There's the second. That would have been fantastic, but somebody got across, Dave. That was left unchecked. Two players are already here. One's on the defensive, one's inside the hill. It was okay doing that, but none of his teammates are watching his back. Whether or not he was it was an unfortunate set of circumstances. He was the last one standing over here. Gosh, but he was just one man band, and it just broke apart.
And that's all you really need in some of those scenarios is someone to step it up, someone just to slip by for a few milliseconds unseen and to break through that defensive step. So despite Nfinite outplaying Unlimited for the last, I would argue, 7 minutes or so. Yeah, like 6 minutes. Now we see this game nearly tied up. Unlimited, they just put together such a long string of points there over in the Red Hill, and now they're only down by 17 seconds.
So what I don't want to see here is Nfinite killing themselves and defeating themselves by being scrappy, by just playing solo players, going for that time and panicking. If they do that, you'll then see Unlimited capitalize and take advantage of the situation by just slaying them and setting up for these side bases. If they just keep throwing their bodies at this bottom hill and dying time after time, it sets them up for failure. It puts them in a really bad position for when these bases finally do pop in the positions that you're actually in. You have to be prepared. This next hill that pops on one of the side bases, it's going to be the game changer, potentially the game winner.
We've seen that not only on Nexus, but that also plays an effect here on Battle Canyon, where we're going to see this most likely come down to last hill and whoever gets control of it. But don't take for granted these last scrappy seconds that these teams can get in this bomb center hill. This is going to make it even more difficult for Nfinite to hold a side base because not only are they going to have to get the slays, they're going to have to put someone in the hill where they're kind of out of the action for a moment.
Dude, look at the score. Like, this is a bit of a boxing match. They're knocking the hell out of each other and both tapping up as much time as possible, which just makes it so... It's thin ice. They're both walking on thin ice because when you go to this next one, depending on who's actually got it, if one of them locks it down, I mean, hell, we've seen what Trippy can do with ample of 3 seconds time and a window of opportunity. He can sneak behind enemy lines, get a fair few frags on the board, and secure his team to win. Any of these players can do it for that matter, not just Trippy. But bottom middle, they've had this Unlimited of kind of being uncontested for a good 5 to 6 seconds there, and every second counts. When we're coming down to the wire, there's going to be 1 minute remaining on the clock. This is fragile. This is wild. And red base, red team, they're already set up for it.
And Rhino feels like he's forced to sit in this hill immediately, despite having Sniper. I think in a ideal scenario, Rhino would like to be back on top of blue base, but realizing that maybe he can still be in effect while in the hill and countering potentially top of red base or top of Rocket Arch while in the hill. But this is also a scary position to be in. He knows he's no longer safe. You see him panicking, looking back and forth from Needler's side to back of the base, and now getting pressure from Stellar over on the Rocket Arch.
To the blue side, you don't have the archway on your favor. You've just got to fight for what's yours. You keep what you kill. 209 to 205, 20 seconds remaining on the clock. Everybody's just going to go head to toe. We got one player there. Nade comes down. He will fall. Up to the roof he'll need to be. Pre-Nade's on the back. He comes down. Will he take him down? He's missing it. You got to go for the no-scope. Goes for the re-pick. The second player there. Throw your body in. There's nothing they can do. Nfinite actually managed to keep a hold of the game.
And that was a scary situation where Ryan was in that hill for so long and felt like he wasn't receiving the pressure that I would have expected. Or didn't seem like the other members of Nfinite were getting picked off in the ways that I would expect since you weren't seeing pressure on the hill. So great play from Nfinite to close that one out and clutch at the end, because they went to that last hill down by, what, 25-ish points?
Yeah, that was on a knife edge. Anyone could have taken control of that one.
Looking at slays, they actually got outslayed by 1 kill. Now, that might not seem like a big difference, which it really isn't. What ends up showing, though, is they were just slightly more objective efficient. And we saw that over the course of those 6 minutes, you know, those 3 hills, the 2 bottom center scrappy hills, and the side blue base.
It's gonna go game 5, this, isn't it? This is gonna be a wild one. I mean, what's the next game time? Let me take a quick peek on there. I'm assuming it would be a Slayer. Yeah, no, excuse me, it's not. It's CTF on the pit. Okay, and then we go to Sanctuary Slayer for the very end. Oh, Sanct TS game 5 would be pretty spicy. All right, CTF pit then. It'll all go down on there, and whether or not...
Well, unlike the countdown flag game we saw, where teams are able to get much more scrappy, you can't really get as scrappy on the pit. Yes, there are scenarios where you can push on through like long haul or slip on by and maybe get a kill and start to run a flag that way. But it doesn't really hold the same as it used to in something like Halo 3, because with the DMR doing such devastating damage, long range, you can't really slip that flag all the way in the needler by yourself. So it's going to be more of a concerted effort by these teams. And yes, it might get a little scrappy from time to time from players pushing on the opposite sides of the bases, opposite side of the map, quicker than we're normally used to. You're not going to be able to see that translate into as many caps as something like Countdown or Zealot.
Who do you fancy for this one? Is it too early to tell, or is it literally a coin toss at this point?
I mean, it's been a coin toss pretty much every game if you look at those scores. Zealot was so close. Countdown flag 5-4. There's really no easy way to predict these. It's going to be who gets the more clutch, who can actually capitalize on these kills. And I feel like, though, as the games go a little bit longer, you know, maybe taking not into account that last final game where Nfinite was able to clutch out. Like, Unlimited seems like they got stronger as the flag game went on Countdown. So maybe that's going to be the same thing here on Pit Flag.
Any given Sunday, any given opportunity, Rockets are being used to their maximum potential. There's bodies already down. They've been slayed for a second time.
Go for a double cap.
Less than 30 seconds. The flag is already in, and there's potentially a double cap actually going for the run. There is a sniper up on Snipe Tower, so he needs to be careful. He does shut it down. But 30 seconds, Dave. That is going to be heartbreaking. That is going to be soul-crushing, that you come straight off the respawn, you're put back into it twice in a row, and then all of a sudden the team just caps the flag.
We're down by 1, and I mean, consider the start that Nfinite got on Countdown flag, where they were up 2-0 within the first 2 minutes, and they also capped within the first 30 seconds. They still lost that game. So to think now that Nfinite is starting this game down a flag cap within the first minute and has to somehow win the long game, it doesn't bode as well.
A response though. Nfinite are running one of themselves, and it's through the green box and into their 50-yard line. Back of the net, job done. We're all tied up, 1 apiece. Starting to get some kind of flashbacks here from Countdown, Dave. It's all coming back to me again. Same scenario.
I mean, it just feels like as I'm casting this, everything happens the opposite way, where I'm just like, you know, this team's going to come out strong, or I don't know how Nfinite are going to bounce back from this. And so, you know what, Sims? I'm also going to predict there's no way I just win $1 million in the lottery today. There's just no way. So, like, you know, if opposite predictions keep happening, I'm looking forward to a great day.
So basically what we're saying is, if we don't see Dave cast an Nfinite, it's not because he's not been picked, it's because he's won $1 million, bought his own island and gone and retired. All right, Dave, I see you. Remember, I have a son and a family, so if you want to buy my son any toys or buy me a house.
I will actually buy Mini Sim some toys if I win $1 million. Until then, though, nothing.
I like how you avoided buy me a house. Okay. My son gets a car. I get nothing. I see how it is. Speaking of toys.
Actually, oh my God, I'm totally going to do that if I get a chance. I'm going to buy your kid anything and everything, and your son's favorite caster is going to be me. Your son's favorite caster is not going to be Sims, it is going to be Walshy. Uncle Walshy.
I mean, it could be Golden Boy, so I'll take that. Oh, God, we always dog on him. He's not even here. I feel so bad. Oh, I miss you, Alex. If you're out there, we miss you, brother. Flag's already going to be out. We spoke about toys. We got OS and we got Sniper in the hands of Dead Zone. Misses the first initial connection, but Flag, it don't matter whatsoever because it's been run 2-1 Unlimited. They take the lead once again. Nades down, guns up. He will see some kind of pressure coming from the side of training. I like the fact that he's watching long haul just to make sure his back's covered. That rocket just come flying across the map. Now everybody's on red alert, goes into the mauler. Did he get the kill? I didn't quite see, but one of them's already behind enemy lines. Trade-off is there. 3 of them down. That's going to be a dead one.
Reliable also getting taken out in the scenario. So despite Nfinite having a little bit of a kill lead over the last 20 or 30 seconds as they finally broke out of that pinning setup from the Unlimited roster, they weren't able to translate that into as much map control as they needed. They weren't able to keep their players alive that had snipe on the opposite side of the map. They find themselves in these difficult situations as they push across the map and a player or two gets picked off, that the rest of the teammates from Nfinite aren't able to put themselves in safe spots or aren't able to retreat back towards their own half of the map. So anytime they start to get a semblance of control, they lose those weapons, they lose those positions, and they're back at square one.
I'm quite surprised one of those players actually died over there on stage, jumping into flag. Like, they knew he was there unless it hadn't been communicated properly. Doesn't really mean anything in the bigger picture, but it's just little nuances like that. You expect players to be looking directly and mopping up these easy potential kills, especially when you're on your side. Hit by 2 sniper bullets, so Nick's definitely dead. And both of them just making sure, one to the back and one to the brain.
And for some reason, that's also more frustrating somehow than just getting sniped by 1 in the head. You know what I mean? Getting hit by 2 different snipers in the body, back to back. It's just like, man, for real? Come on.
Can't get a break here, boys. Help me out, help me out. Speaking of bullet to the brain, the barrage continues. One from the back flag and just disengages for that. I'm fine because those grenades might have found him. Nick again. Poor bugger's been hit 3 times now with sniper bullets. The pain just continues. Boys, let me out. Let me out. Same kind of scenarios before though, Dave, that we saw back on Zealot. They're just, for the last minute, they've been pinned into their 50-yard line.
And there's really nothing to break out of this. And this is a situation that we're not really seeing being reciprocated on the Nfinite side. We're not seeing them get these longer setups where they keep control for a long period of time. Instead, they start to get a little bit of control, but Trippy trying to desperately move the flag across the map. I like this play. I like how he drops the flag and starts to go for damage or slays. In fact, I would have preferred to see Trippy even push further in towards the training or the green and take up a bit more control of his map. However, that is 3 members down for Unlimited. That's going to be Rain moving this flag across the map with Dead Zone shooting him in the back, and this flag is going, and I don't know if it's gone yet, but Rain was picked off, so they're going to see if they're going to continue to rally this one back or just slow it down. I would love to see Nfinite slow it down. Flag is on their side. They just need to get some slays.
1-2, thank you. Calls collects, and it's job done. We're all tied up 2 apiece, so from being all but close to getting a flag. Trippy just delaying the inevitable. Unfortunately, it was a valiant effort. I'm glad you kind of touched on it. It was great to take the challenge rather than just die in open waters, but I don't think they expected so many people to just pressure long haul and just throw the bodies at it, get the stop, and then that initial contact that Trippy went for down by Sniper, he comes back to haunt their dreams. He runs low, gets the flag, takes it through stage, and ultimately it leads to a cap.
That was just such a quick turn of events, and that's one of the dangers of when you get in this mindset of getting the flag back to your base and not still taking up more ground. You want to bring the fight to the opposing team. You want to take up a bit more territory, whether that's a stronger position over on your training or on green and some sort of flank. You need to have multiple angles of attack, because if you don't have multiple angles that you can pressure from, the opposing team can just push in from every single direction, going towards green, training, or hull, and really receive little to no punishment because they only have to defend themselves from one angle of attack.
Flag reset.
It's those kind of disciplined moments where you can kind of see the bread and butter players, the ones that are just the casual matchmaking kids that spam hardcore day in, day out, to the actual professionals who'll take them time and they can read a situation on a pinhead. Been able to throw a flag in, and kind of like we saw Pistola doing yesterday, where you wouldn't just go and chuck it in and go for the desperation. You would assess the situation. Okay, what happens here if I run this one? If I run, I die, so what do? I'll hold it for now, wait for backup to come in. Okay, it doesn't always work out, but you're giving yourself a better chance and a better opportunity rather than just dying with a flag in open water.
Without doubt, you need to make them work harder for the kill. You need to put themselves in a position that is going to either put them in a disadvantageous position. There's just so many other ways that you can use your life effectively, even without acquiring a kill yourself.
Approaching the 22 mark. We're all tied up. If you are just joining us to keep you up to date on how this one will fall down, if Unlimited get this game in the bag, they win the best of 5 series. Unfortunately, Nfinite will be leaving us. Their run on the championship bracket Champ Sunday will end here and now. However, if Nfinite somehow manage to pull this one off, we take this one down to the wire and it's a Game 5 next win.
Look at this. Unlimited seemingly having multiple opportunities to get these flag grabs and flag runs as they stay alive longer over at the Nfinite base. Whereas it seems like anytime Nfinite are pushing the Unlimited base, they have their one and done opportunity. And oh my gosh, Dead Zone saving a back smack, which would have likely turned into a quick flag grab and run from Ryu. And that is just an absolute game changer.
You just see him swing to go for it, and all of a sudden this bullet just pings him off. Talk about overwatching on your teammates and being a good support player. Might just be seeing rockets in the corner there through the smoke. There's one, there's two. Doubles there, weapons are up. Looks towards the end of green box, needs to be careful. The grenades can bounce off there and just end your life in the blink of an eye. Holding green, I'm okay with this for now. Your teammates are coming off the respawn. That's exactly what it does, the kills there. You're not about slaying, you're not about pushing. You're just waiting for your teammates to get back on their feet. Holding the line, there's something to be said for it. And basically, he's just a one-man army. Dead Zone, he's not only holding the line, he's holding the game, he's holding the entire team at the 50-yard line. This is fantastic work from him.
And it also seems like a little disconnected, though, because you saw how Trippy pushed all the way to the opposite side of the map during that time where it feels like Dead Zone is in this defensive measure. So I'm not sure if Trippy saw a secondary play where he felt like, oh, I saw these kills, I can maybe slip over towards Mauler and help set up this following push for his teammates, or if he just expected to have backup from Dead Zone, and Dead Zone picking up a sick double kill with those power weapons.
Preemptive read, definitely had communication. Now watches and waits on Snipe Tower, but no one had sword.
They had sword, but the bigger disconnect there was Trippy running flag towards Mauler's side while Dead Zone was holding on plat. You either want to have it where both players are out in the open so that you can run that flag as fast as possible towards green, and that's what Dead Zone was preparing for. Or you want to have that secondary player kind of stay alive, hold down in Needler Pit, don't put yourself in a position where you just get melted like you did. So a little bit of a disconnect again. Like I said, that's 2 different times in recent past that I felt like Dead Zone and Trippy weren't exactly on the same page.
Aggression is coming through thick and fast. We see the OS guy. We see 2 players moving down from Saw. This could be a push unless it's stopped in its tracks. Stella takes him out of the Snipe Tower. Now looking onwards. Flag is out. It's on the move. We got 3 players surrounding it. This could be the movement that they needed. This could be the moment and the time to get this one walking away. Because they'll hold this side, we know that where they'll be spawning. They'll be on the low side. They'll be by Snipe. Provided they can keep this in check and work together as a team and not get split apart, which it kind of looks has happened.
And oh no, that counter flag grab, I was a bit skeptical of first, but that turned out to be the right distraction, pulling a couple members back on that side of the map and turned exactly into what Nfinite needed to stop that 3rd and final flag cap. What I'm also a bit surprised about was those last couple kills getting picked off, because it felt like Unlimited were able to still get a lot of those kills, but it felt like Joey and I want to say the other last person, I forget whom it was, on Unlimited side, both got picked off over Needler side, and that flag just got fully stopped. So it felt like everything went right there for Nfinite during that chaotic scenario.
A little bit of a panic, I want to say. They realized flag was out and they chased after it.
I approve of this hiding spot. I approve.
You approve of any hiding spot?
I approve.
All you want to do is live, Dave, and just be an annoyance. In fact, no, I think it's about living with you. It's just been an annoyance.
That's true. I do prioritize annoyance over living.
Get the objective, Dave. No, I've been a horrible person. I prefer to do that than rather in the game. Rockets creeping once again. This time it's Trippy. It might be the one to seal the fate on any poor soul that runs green. Reliable caught off guard. Comes through. Easy one-shot cleanup. Be able to give this. Maybe a preemptive rocket off the back of the wall. Yes, indeed. How much damage it done? Probably not as much as what we think. Eco toe-to-toe with the sniper. Has the OS, can cause some problems if it's just a matter of wasting bullets. Still gets the job done. There's something to this opposing side, and now they're all off the respawn. Tags him up in the back. Range should be able to clean that one up, so OS removed from play. Dead Zone turns and faces.
He knows where both players are, though, so this is a situation they could or should have pulled this flag, but it feels like... never mind. I was going to say, It felt like there was a situation where they could have started to go for that flagpole, but it just felt like they wanted to make sure they reset this. It's not a time where you really want to get scrappy. We're at a one-cap game. This could go to overtime. It really doesn't matter if it goes, you know, a cap in the next 30 seconds or if it goes 10 minutes from now. You just want to make sure you do not mess that play up. So I guess I can agree with that. I've always been a big proponent of trying to force and push for those scrappy caps, those opportunities as soon as you can get them. But with how long this game is gone, you need to just prioritize kills. So I need to call myself out when I'm incorrect.
But we're kind of at a moment in the game, a time in the game where a simple YOLO session can cost you and might simply just lose you it. So you don't want to go doing that and being the bearer of bad news for the rest of your teammates. I'm sorry, guys, we just got ourselves kicked out of the competition because I wanted to make a montage on main stage. So I kind of understand it. A bit more of a passive play and passive ability will come through. Rhino taking the off angle through sword. The opposing side, Stella might be able to shut this one down, or any kind of forcible push. Finally does come out, so him being there is in the best position. Goes for the sweep stand as he just drops down. Doesn't find it. Now they know have someone underneath bridge that they need to remove from this position if they want to start advancing outside of this. Sniper on the opposing team will be in green door. Where is he going to be rotating to? Where will he show his face?
Yeah, that player's no longer going to be at green. I feel like that player's got to go towards long haul or towards training. I mean, if that player didn't poke back out again shortly after, you can just use deduction and say, all right, this player's no longer going to stay in the middle of green because someone could round that corner. And there it is, over at long haul.
It's because of how, for me, how it's the hallway as such. It's very easy to nade out green, even if you don't know where people are. If you just throw them in, you're banking them off the walls, and 9 times out of 10, you're at least going to do some damage to the shield. If anyone of them will forcibly push through, it's a very easy kill. Now, what happens with this flag guy? Because there's all kinds of players going towards it.
Great position here for Unlimited if Eco can still stay alive. He did a great job pushing the flag over towards Needlerfoot / Mauler, and it's just buying time. This allows other members of Unlimited just to push all the way across the map and help give support. Look how long Eco has been staying alive, almost single-handedly behind enemy lines.
Been here for a while, but unfortunately his teammates have not been able to make much of that flag. The players all over, and they were spread rather thin, so the spawns weren't being capitalized on and watched. Perfectly fine and totally understandable when there's so much going on and many different battles are unfolding. 30 seconds into overtime now.
Well, it essentially doesn't change much. I mean, we're looking at the last cap regardless. Like, they were both tied 2-2, so whoever gets this next one, it's going to be a scenario where it's just, next cap decides the game. And like I said before, does that happen 30 seconds into the previous time we were talking about? Or does it happen 10 minutes later and these teams battle out and slug it out because neither one wants to be that player to make the mistake and give up too much control, which leads to a counter cap?
Interesting scenario here. All of red team is forced back into their own base. And while this is happening, they're on the opposing side. They're actually pulling it, so they can keep this one going. No. What happened there?
2 players picked up. I can't tell if a grenade blew up over in green. And this could be the third and final cap, but it also could set for a counter cap. Reliable and Infinite have to be careful to not mess this one up. And it looks like they do not. They rally that in. Death after death. They had to use at least 4 of their lives to get that flag all the way into their base and finally scored.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That was fun. Rather unexpected at the time because how they was pushing in, they just went for it. Like,
I felt like a flag was gonna be scored after that engagement one way or the other. Let's take a quick look at the stats, and it looks like heavily outslayed there from the Infinite roster despite pulling out that objective win. What do we have as far as the numbers there?
I think that's a scoreline to make up.
Outslayed by 30 kills. Outslayed by 30 kills exactly.
Dead zone. I know it's lost the map, but that certainly makes up for yesterday's neg 23. 40 bomb up on main stage.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, they outslayed by 30 kills, yet we're still out-captured. Goes to show the objective efficiency here from this Infinite roster and how they're able to defend their base when they needed to. And although they didn't hold Unlimited side of the map for extended periods of time, like I was critiquing before, they did it for the times that they needed to and capped the flags they needed to. End of the day.
We wouldn't want to see it any other way. Championship bracket. Do or die scenario. Next map wins. Game 5 alert, ladies and gentlemen. Grab your phones, grab your computers, get on Twitter, get on Facebook, whatever social media the kids use these days. Use the hashtag HCS, hashtag DHANA20. Tweet the stream and make sure people are tuning in, because this is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Slayer on Sanctuary, Dave, will be the final battleground for these two teams.
Yep. And first off, Sims, to answer your question about what social media the kids are on nowadays, me and the kids, we're all on TikTok nowadays, doing little dances and stuff.
Dave,
so,
if you did
TikTok the stream.
If I see you doing TikTok,
follow me.
I will forcibly remove myself from social media.
Just follow me. I got some funny ones.
Like what?
It's like, you gotta relate to it. Sort of like, yo, isn't it crazy when your alarm goes off in the morning? And then like I put my hand over my face, like, oh, geez, I don't want to get for school and stuff like that. So it's just, you know, I've been trying to relate with the kids. I haven't been getting much interaction or engagement, if I'm gonna be honest, but I'm trying, Sims. I'm relating.
It's like that awkward moment when the uncle asks you how your relationship's going at Christmas. You haven't seen him in 15 years and you don't really know him, but he wants to know all about the information about your relationship. It's like, I don't want to talk to you. Who are you? This is going to be a good one. I'm actually kind of excited for this one. I'm just a big Sanct fan. The simple fact that we were missing so many dual snipe maps, and I get all these flashbacks to what we saw during H2A. I mean, hell, me and Brav had the privilege of casting one of the most greatest, for me anyway, greatest series of all time, the Noble Black CLG map, where it was just forcibly back and back, what, 7 restarts?
Oh my god, yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing that again.
No, I don't think we ever will, but I still just, Sank allows for this. That's what I love most about it, because it can be so evenly matched. When you put two teams that are so damn good and know how to do it, and more importantly, are so proficient with the sniper rifles, you know you're in for a show. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Elimination bracket, elimination map. Game 5, do or die. It all comes down to this. MLG Team Slayer version 7. Sanctuary TS will be the playground. Let's have a look for these snipers and see what we can get off the bat. Avoiding sniper, but using the jetpack. We will see. Ring 2 control comes into play.
Oh. Gets the camel grab, but trades with his life. End of the day, this is still even. The times we're going to see this start to swing is one of these snipers going down. If Stellar gets picked off with a sniper, or Reliable gets picked off with the Infinite sniper, that's when teams are going to go. And there goes Reliable down. Stellar is not going to let a player grab this power weapon for free, but I'm a little concerned about this repositioning. It looks like he wants to try to punish over at Rock, so I guess I can't disagree with it. He saw his teammates all taken over towards Snipe side, and they had that angle covered. So Stellar decides to cover the Rock angle from his own street, and that's the second time we've seen that sniper player being taken out, and Stellar putting on a show.
Go on, son, get the third as well. He knows exactly where he is. Killing spree comes through. Stellar is feeling it. This is what we wanted to see on Sanct TS. This is what we want to see from our sniper rifle players. Instantly, though, from Reliable, like twice back-to-back, almost a third time. He's just denied usage from that sniper rifle. Now it comes into play. I've just seen Eco go down in the kill feed. Ryan Oop has got a cross. He's behind enemy lines. They need to keep him in check. Assist comes through. So now he's forcibly removed from their side of the map. They can continue looking forward and watching these players. They just feed them body after body. This is going bad, Dave.
This is going terribly, but I still have to question what ended up happening with the Infinite sniper. I mean, we saw it go down a couple times, but I feel like we never saw the bullets being used. So is that something that's still in play? And it does look like I'm not seeing it anywhere over on their side still. So this is Stellar getting a full second sniper and putting it to use, whereas we have yet to see Infinite using that effectively.
How often do we see a player just walk back to snipe spawn with an empty sniper? With an empty sniper, and just forcibly, rather than pick up the fresh one, just take the ammunition.
And that used to be something that you just straight up would not do back in the old Halo days, because you actually would lose the ammo in the exact chamber. You'd only get the additional ammo outside of that. So this is something that's a little bit changed here in Reach. But it's just funny to see, like, that's one, a problem you don't see too often, and two, a new creative solution you have to do.
Oh, that's gonna hurt. Time and time again. Nick, in the previous rounds, he was getting battered with the sniper, and now he just jumps up. The no-scope's a reality onto ring 3. Stellar is just putting on a performance, the show of a lifetime, to keep his championship Sunday dreams alive. Killing Frenzy! The pain train is real, finally. They end his spree. 10-0. What a performance in the final match. This is just phenomenal. They may have already won the game, Dave.
May have already, and Stellar was sure as hell playing like they did, because that was a questionable charge, pushing on out with that jetpack, pushing out with a sniper that still had ammo in it, pushing all the way across the map. I mean, at some point you're feeling it, but you also have to be a little cautious. You know, why not go for that 15 kill spree? Why not go, you know, sit back on your side? But it looks like Stellar was absolutely feeling himself, and like I said, despite losing that sniper over the opposite side of the map, I feel like Unlimited are poised to take this 5th and final game.
14 kill lead. Now you can do what they want, because you on blue team, you are controlling this game. Red team have to do everything. They have to put in all the work and effort to get to the opposing side, and that's easier said than done, because every time they do, there's a very simple point of being able to refrag and retrade off of these kills that they actually pick up.
I also want to point out, Sims, when's the last time we've actually seen Nfinite hold ring in this game? We saw Ryan Noob get there off the very start as he jetpacked up and got that camo, but outside of that very initial break, I don't think we've really seen Nfinite in the ring unless they're just dying like they're getting picked apart those last 2/3 deaths there.
This is a massacre. This is just wills and spirits being broken on the battlefield. Kill by kill, death by death, frag by frag. 40 on the board. The steak, it's been seared, it's well done, and it's ready to be served to its guest of honor. Unlimited are running away with this thing. Everything for Nfinite just looks very much out of arm's reach here. This is going to be very difficult. I mean, we've seen comebacks before from dire and impossible situations, but this just looks far too gone. Sniper at least gets something back on the board. The stake isn't there. But when you're at 45 kills, you've only got 5 more. Wrap it up. Let's just box it up, put it in a box. This is a takeaway meal. It's done.
Yep, and what started off as one of the closest series we've seen so far this tournament. When you look at the score lines between those flag games, 1 flag each game on hit and on countdown. The Zealot team Slayer was within, I want to say, 7 kills. The King of the Hill game was in 20 points. And somehow, the King of the Hill game was closer as an actual scoreline compared to this Game 5 Team Slayer on Sanctuary, where the Unlimited just absolutely demolished Nfinite to move on.
King of the Ring, that's the story. Sanctuary TS is Unlimited Gaming's match. And with that match, they take the series. What a phenomenal and huge performance. They put them through the ringer. Rain, unfortunately, 3 and 14, -11 at the bottom, all the way at the top. Stella, we expected it. 3 deaths to 17 freaking kills. That is a monstrous performance.